Good morning, everybody. It is September 4th. Welcome to the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, and I'm here with,
Yeah, hey everybody, Andrew Plank here with Vibe Collective, and I'm with Royal LePage.
And
Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Center, Modern Mortgage Group. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you. How was your week, everybody?
Nice. Yeah, busy.
Why are you closing your mouth like that?
Who?
Jen. She's like...
We were just, Jen and I before the show, we're just talking about the weather changes and the fact that we're now past September 1st. And yeah, just where did summer go? I think that's kind of the feeling right now. Where did summer go?
So interesting you say that, because I've been getting my house painted over the past 2 years. Yes, 2 years. Yes, 2 years.
How long have you been getting your house painted, Jane?
2 years. Anyway,
Really?
and it's 4 different colors. Anyway,
so it's 6 months per color?
Well,
takes a long time to dry.
Long story.
Jesus Christ. Can I just finish my thought, for God's sakes? You're bringing out the Irish in me, and I'm not even Irish. Okay.
We need to dive into this, I think. I think our listeners need to know. There's a story here, and I don't think we can go forward without. Okay.
No, anyway, the point is that, first year I was like trying to get the house painted. And then I'm like, okay, well, we have to get it painted before September 1st because the weather just changes and we can't paint outside in the rain. And the painters, like, I talked to like 3 different painters. I got 3 different quotes. And so I went with the middle quote, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then, like, I think he did a portion, and I was like, okay. He did the front part, so it looked good on the front. And then he's a great painter, but he's just so busy anyway. And then last year he finished painting, I would say 95%, and there was a square, I'm not kidding, this much unpainted right by my front door, and I would walk in the house looking at this
it's like
square.
That Japanese concept that there's no perfection, so every circle needs to be kind of not fully completed. Maybe this is just like a bit of it's their artistic touch. They just leave everything a little unfinished because life is imperfect.
Well, maybe, but whatever. I was like, Jesus.
It's their hallmark. It's going to be collectible one day.
So it was finished yesterday, and there was like an eaves trough that wasn't painted. So I'd walk into the house. I was looking at the eaves trough.
Well, congratulations on a completed project. That's a big win.
We're still not done.
Well, and the weather, 100%. The weather really, I just noticed the last few mornings headed into my office. Number one, the traffic has gotten atrocious, and it's cool in the morning for sure.
So.
Right. Reminder everyone that the school zones are now in effect again, so no more summer speeding.
Yeah, but I just want to address something though. So mortgage brokering or whatever you say, and real estate, we can work from home. So do you work from the office because you like the camaraderie, or why?
Yep. Most definitely. I go into the office 3 to 4 days a week. We've got a great group of mortgage brokers here, and I enjoy the company. I enjoy, the atmosphere, and I feel like I've got less distractions, and yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. I just have to go change my laundry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone here at home, and then our laundry, there's no way to turn off the buzzer when the dryer has finished its run. And so you get
irritating.
And everybody has to stop talking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do this show, kiddos.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, Andrew, tell us, we've got the agenda. Actually, Jen, what's going on?
Well, we're watching the 5-year bond yield closely. And what that means is basically if the 5-year bond yield moves up or down, fixed rates move up or down. Today, it's sitting around 2.9%, which is up slightly and tracking closely with the US 10-year Treasury at about 4.2%. The reason for this bump is, and I'm not too familiar with everything that's going on, but the US courts ruled most of Trump's tariffs illegal, which is raising the risk of tariff refunds and pushing the yields higher.
Right.
So that's interesting.
I think I sent you this guy's Instagram account the other day, and he was talking about it. So essentially, when Trump's tariffs came in, it affected the bond market and they went down. But then when he took the tariffs away, it also went down because they feel now they've realized all the revenue they're getting from their Americans who are paying the tariffs. And right. So now they're not reacting positively to that news. So it's interesting.
Yes.
They like the money it's bringing in.
Yes. Yeah. The biggest focus right now, too, is that there's a job report that will be coming in tomorrow. Canada is expected to add about 7,500 jobs and the US 75,000, with unemployment likely ticking up to 7% in Canada and 4.3% in the US. So that week outlook has markets betting on a Fed rate cut in the US this month. And currently, the Bank of Canada, there's a 50-50 chance of cutting as well.
Wow.
So fixed rates going up and the variable could be going down?
You got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the takeaway. For someone who, I was just thinking, I just thank you. You just sent me recently a happy 3-year anniversary on your mortgage.
Yes, I did.
Jen holds our mortgage. And which means we have 2 years left. And, you know, at some point, you know, people always ask, well, is it a good time to break my mortgage? What should I be doing? I wonder if you want to comment just really briefly for people at different stages in their mortgage as to whether they should be, and whether they're on variable or fixed, whether there is an opportunity to consider anything or really just hold tight until you're much closer to renewal. Is there any argument, or at what point would there be an argument for someone to come to their mortgage broker and say, hey, let's talk, even though we've still got some years left?
It depends on the situation, but if you're drowning, or you're feeling like well, first of all, interest rate wise, it's always worth checking to see if you locked into, say, a 3-year term a year and a half to 2 years ago. Most definitely it'd be worth looking at that because your rate's probably much higher than where they are today. But what I'm seeing right now is people that are trying to hold out till their maturity date. They've got that 1.89%, and it's coming up for renewal in 5 or 6 months. And they've accumulated a lot of debt. So what we're looking at in those situations is we're either looking at doing a second mortgage, or in certain circumstances, it does make sense. You know what? It's great that you've got that 1.89%, but you're paying 20% on 40,000 of unsecured debt. Let's take care of this now. So I run a report, refinance report, and input all the information, what your penalty would be to get out of your existing mortgage. And it will tell us whether it makes sense to do or not.
Okay. So I think what I'm hearing you say is you want to look at the bigger picture wider than your own mortgage. You want to look at your other debts and your interest rates on those and see where what you're actually paying long-term based on is, you said 28% interest on a credit card. For example, it might make sense to stop paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars in interest a month to amalgamate. Okay, got it. Thanks. That's not my scenario, everyone, just FYI.
And there's lots of options, whether it's a second mortgage, adding on a line of credit, or combining your debts with your mortgage. I mean, there's lots of ways that we can look at it and create a strategy. Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks, I always suggest to people to get a line of credit if they're getting a mortgage. Just because it'll give them flexibility.
I agree, except, know thyself, know thyself. And if you feel like you're going to just use it because it's there and end up with all the toys because now, quote, you can afford it, then you might want to reconsider having that or making it too large,
Yes. The line of credit can be a never plan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. That is one that we have followed, where we've, done renovations on the house, and we've done this and we've done that because, it's relatively cheap credit, and you look around and you say, well, if we do this now and it costs us X, it's better than waiting 3 years to save for it. We're going to have the benefit of it now, and we're going to pay this much per month for that benefit, and it's worthwhile.
Most definitely.
It's also, it depends on what you're spending it on. But anyway, okay, so let's get back to Joe here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, 7-day market watch. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, so we've had 287 properties go live in the last week versus 244 the week before, which is interesting because we did have a long weekend. 130 pendings versus 111 the week before, so our pendings are slightly up. Our price decreases also are slightly up with 135 price decreases versus 128 the week before. And again, because we straddled a first of the month, we had a whole bunch of expireds show up, 156 versus 42 the week before. And that's definitely a common thing to see.
I think we had a lot of new listings because we're at the end of the summer and a lot of people made those decisions in August prior to the long weekend. So it's not like they were just waiting for the summer to be over. So that number makes sense to me, the 287.
Yeah, probably actually. And while we're talking, I'm just going to go in and have a look at how many new listings kind of came in today, because I wouldn't be surprised if actually quite a few were that we had quite a large number of new listings today. It's a Thursday. We often see a lot of new listings come in. So, okay, 29 today, 126 in the last 2 days. New listings. In the last 3 days,
yeah, we
181.
did too.
Yeah. So the majority of this was weighted to this week. Was this side of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then our list to sale ratio was 45.3% compared to 45.49. Interesting.
Pretty flat.
So
yeah.
Pretty flat. Okay. So net unconditional sales for August so far was 525 for August 2025 compared to 545 for August 2024. And the new listings were at 1,081 for August of 2025 compared to 1,043 last year. Total active listings were up, baby, at 3,600. And that's compared to 3,191 for August of last year. So we're accumulating.
Active listings are they actually down over last week though? Because were we not up above 3,600 last week?
Yeah. But over, like, for the month, we're okay. Fair. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, so this graph just shows the total number of active listings. Actually, and there you go, the total number of active listings that we've had month over month over the last couple of years. And so you can see the pattern here that it does follow a pattern where we see kind of a rise up in the spring, and then it falls down in the winter, and then rises up in the spring, sometimes a little down in the summer again when we look at the middle of this graph, and then again down into winter 2024, start of winter 2025. So we reached a peak here in June of 2025 of almost 3,800 listings, but we're down to 3,600 now.
So I'm just going to go to the next graph. I'm calling this the big season and the little season, so that we have a definite spring market and a definite fall market, and we're kind of back to where we were. It's funny, one of my market updates from 2019 showed up on my Facebook the other day, and I was like, oh, it was so funny to hear what I was saying. There were 88, I think, price decreases, so lower than where we are now. Anyway, we're seeing a peak both in May of both years, last year and this year, and a little bit more inventory compared this year comparatively to last year. But I think it feels like we're going to head into a rather robust fall. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I think I've been busy through the year, other than feel like I got a maybe 3 week break these last 3 weeks of summer, and it was glorious because the phone stopped ringing for me, and a number of my clients were sort of completing their sales and so forth. But everything's kind of lining up now for fall. So I do agree. I think it's going to be a busy fall, and already things are starting to sort of slot into place for running around and doing all the real estate things and no longer being in the office.
Yeah, I'm never in the office. My office is my car.
Which is why you're doing this out of your living room. Because I mean, do you not have a home office?
This is my home office, where I am right now.
Okay.
The living room, because my kids are grown up, and yeah. Plus, I like it. It's a little corner of paradise. But yeah,
well,
mostly
if I'm not, go ahead.
I was gonna say mostly I'm in my car, probably like you.
Yeah, the car is the mobile office. I've actually fantasized about maybe buying not exactly a camper van, but a camperized van with a really nice office-y space inside as my mobile wheels, because then you could just park somewhere and you've got set up the table and work away, and it can also work as a camping vehicle, but it's the branded mobile office.
Just want to say, I have been listening to you say this for 19 years. So this is not a new idea.
I did have the Barth, and I actually did use it for that from time to time, but it was a little big. And I'm saying I love the idea of it, but it's not something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Our next purchase is going to be a trailer. But anyway, let's move on. Let's actually move on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
so we're looking. Go ahead.
You said go ahead, so I assumed that was for me. But we can give some of this to Jen too, even though she's So we are now below the 20% line, which we have not actually been below that line since 2023 in October, November 2023. And so we are getting closer into buyer's market based on that number. I would say we're still balanced, but weighted towards the buyer side. And I think that if we see some more activity this fall, we might find this pops back up again. But it certainly has felt like listing activity has been slower. Prices have been coming down. We're seeing a lot of price reductions. So the wind isn't as deeply in the sales as it has been in some years. So what are your comments here?
I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
No. There's 3,600 active listings right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That seems extremely high.
Well, it's actually been coming down though. So we were at 3,800.
Okay.
And it's been slowly coming down, and it probably will continue to come down if it follows the trend it normally does. Although we might see we sometimes do see a bump in the fall because, again, people are starting to list and waited to list, but it should actually follow this same trend that you see in the middle of this graph. But it is high. It's certainly high. It's higher than it's still higher than it's been in the last few years, but not as high as it was a couple months ago.
Gotcha.
To me, so I think the board has slightly changed what is a seller's definition of a market. So I don't think it was 28 or 17 to 28. I just checked the stats. So it is driving. I can go back and look. But anyway, this is, okay. So 3,600 seems a lot for our board, but also just remember how many newcomers we have. And when Andrew and I got into real estate, I think there were around 3,400. I seem to remember. So I think we're actually still pretty low inventory, relatively speaking. If we reach, I think over 4.
Yeah. 20 years ago when we got into this business, there weren't, Langford was not developed as it is. There weren't so many condo buildings and new developments, and Royal Bay was just twinkling in somebody's eye, and there's so much growth that's happened. So when you think about the actual size of Greater Victoria has grown a lot, it's hard to, you need to kind of take that into account when you talk about, it's almost, we want to look at the percentage, the per capita or per building that actually exist in Greater Victoria versus the listings to really know how that fits together. And that's for someone with more stats minded than I am, but it's something to consider.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Jen?
On that? No.
Okay.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Single family homes. We were at 1.35 2 years ago, and we've been kind of hanging around 1.25. We've ended up around 1.3 over the last 4 months, so fairly steady market. We did peak in April, but we peaked, I think actually we peaked in February. Those sales happened in April. They completed in April, if I'm reading the stats properly. So we've had a pretty flat year overall, I would say.
In terms of pricing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is averages, not median, correct? This is the average pricing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Greater Victoria, single family homes.
Yeah. Condos.
Downtown condos are really still struggling from what I'm hearing and seeing. The new rules around Airbnb have impacted that, and just also some of the socioeconomic situations downtown are impacting that. So what we're seeing here is a bit of a drop in pricing from a peak in February, and overall though, overall on this graph, it's been averaging around 600,000. And it seems that like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, 600,000 was kind of like the going rate for quite a long time, like on average. But what would you say to that?
I would say, so again, it depends. So we're looking at all areas. We're seeing condos definitely sell in Royal Bay area, but downtown they seem to be languishing. Part of that is the fact that a lot of them now don't allow parking. So if you have a unique condo with parking, it's going to sell quickly, I think. We did have a condo, 1 bed at 550 that sold in a week. So it was in the Union building. So I can see it depends on the time of year as well. We definitely tend to have a spring market, I think, for our condo market. I used to think that condos would sell well in the fall as well. For anybody with a student going to university or college, it's a great way to get them into the market. But I don't know. There's so many rentals coming up now. That's like there's rental purpose-built
rentals. Yeah.
So those have really affected. Previously, homeowners were managing that, but now with these, like Langford and Colwood has those. More Langford, I guess, and then downtown. All the Harris Green stuff, that's really going to affect condos.
Right.
With interest rates higher, it doesn't always necessarily make sense because the amount of rent that you're going to pay could be on par or less than taking a mortgage when you consider the strata fees and everything else. And I think that's a deterrent right now as well.
Yeah, and strata fees are going up too. In general. Alrighty.
Yeah. Although insurance apparently has come down in price, which I think we talked about. And that was a big portion of what people were paying for their strata fees. It does take up a large portion of it. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's go to townhomes. Andrew.
Well, again, they've just broken out of the window between 800 and 850 that they've been sitting in for a couple of years. They are just a little higher now. And I think that might be, I don't know what that might be about, but Jane probably does.
Well, I was just going to say, I was talking to a realtor who recently took over a development on Fifth Avenue in Sydney. And I just saw him last night. And they reduced the price of these townhomes to just under $1 million, and they sold 5. Meanwhile, they'd been sitting on the market for a couple of years. So I think it's really figuring out what is the market telling you, what it's willing to bear, and going there with your pricing.
Yeah. Now, demographics too, as Victoria ages, and a lot of people living in homes start to think about maybe moving into a bit of a different style of living that maybe has got the strata where maybe the care and feeding of the roof and the exterior and windows and gardening is all done by somebody else, and you pay your fee and it's easy care in a sense. I think that's got an attraction for some people, and certainly that style of row townhouse that is single level living or primary bedroom on the main is really attractive and attracting, I think, more action.
Yeah, but they those, since they were all over or just under $1 million, I think that's one reason why the average price has gone up. Yeah. All right, so price index benchmark price summary. All right, Andrew, you want to take this away? Let's actually pass over the Gulf Islands, go to the peninsula.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we've got some mapping and just a brief review of what the year ago price point was for benchmark versus this year. There was not really any data. This is why there is some data for the Gulf Islands, but we will just concentrate on the core because we've got a number of slides here. So North Saanich, I'm just going to talk about the percentage changes. It's gone up 4.5% year over year, whereas Sydney is 2.8%. And interestingly, Central Saanich has come up 6.2% in their benchmark pricing. So that's pretty massive year over year compared to a number of the others. Malahattan area, just 0.5%.
Pretty flat.
Pretty flat, yeah. Saanich East, 1.5% up. Saanich West, 4.2% up, which is interesting. View Royal, 4.2% up. Esquimalt, 3%. Vic West, 2.5%. The City of Victoria down by 0.5% for single family homes. And Oak Bay down by 0.6%. So Oak Bay has actually come down in price, because you know what, when you look at the actual benchmark price for Oak Bay, and I'll give you just a sec, Jane, it's at 1.8 million and change. So that's a little hard for a lot of people to reach. Not surprising. It's kind of hit its wall there.
So comparatively speaking, Vic West, you get the biggest bang for your buck. Esquimalt is very close to View Royal. These are, I consider, kind of shoulder districts that people don't look at first. They're not primary areas. People usually come to Victoria, look at Victoria. And Saanich East is also very popular. It's also the most active area in real estate.
What this tells
property
me
taxes.
Property taxes, sure.
In View Royal are usually lower too.
Lower in View Royal, yeah. So the west side, or sorry, the east side of the divider line here, there's this east line, and that's really popular, higher price side of Victoria, you might find. But what this tells me, where these have kind of stalled out on this right hand side, is that people are finding that this is a bridge too far to reach, and are choosing to spill onto the other side. And this is why you're seeing price drops, for example, in Oak Bay. And I'm speculating here, but people are choosing to go where their money goes a little further. So let's see if that holds up. Yeah, let's see if that holds up with the West Shore here. So Highlands is up 7.6%, although that's a harder one to call because there's not a lot of sales in Highlands, and that can be really quite variable. You've got Souk has gone up only 0.4% year over year. Colwood is down 0.1%. Langford is up 1.4%, and Metchosin is up 3.6%. Jane, as a Metchosin resident, citizen, do you have any comments to make about the West Shore?
Yes, I'm finding in Metchosin, especially, things have kind of, it'd be interesting to see what the volume of sales are, like how many houses have sold, because I'm finding that there are a lot of overpriced listings in Metchosin right now. I'm finding it interesting that Colwood and Langford are now more in alignment than they have been in a long time. Colwood was below Langford for a very long time, like I'd say the last decade. And probably 20 years ago, it used to be above Langford because it was a preferred area. And this is all has to do with the politicians developing it. I agree with you regarding the Highlands. There's not a lot of transactions. And to me, they're very similar to Metchosin. So relatively speaking, it's interesting that the Highlands has is up around 1.6 and Metchosin's around 1.35.
Oh, 1.6 million?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. 1.
For pricing.
Yeah, we were talking percentages as well. So I just wanted to clarify that.
But if you want a deal in housing, go to Souk. If you want to do well, like if you want to get a lot of house for your dollar, go to Souk. So
yeah, up makes you over the Malahat. Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying for your location. That's what this is saying.
Yeah. Okay. So in general, in terms of regional summary for single family homes, in the Greater Victoria overall trading area, there's a change of 1.6% up. In the core region, that's the same, 1.6. And then when you've got the Peninsula region is actually up 4.5. So the Peninsula has done quite well overall, whereas the West Shore has been less change at 0.8%.
And I think that's because there's a lot of new construction happening in the West Shore. And so they're trying on these price changes, and they're trying to see where they're getting activity. It's interesting because I can say this now. We listed a house on in Royal Bay, and originally we were looking at 115, and we ended up listing at 1175. Because we just saw that we're looking for where the activity is happening, and we ended up getting more for the house than the sellers wanted. So I'm just saying, price where the market's working.
Do you ever get more than someone wants? I'm sure they're very happy with what they got. They're not like, oh, this is too much, please just. Anyway, okay.
My neighbor did that once.
Yeah, I mean, people have actually, we have had situations where someone has said, you know, I'm looking at 3 different offers, and one of these offers is from a young family starting out, struggling, and I just want to give them the home despite their offer being $30,000 less than the other best and highest offer. Something like that. It is beautiful when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. No data available for condos and apartments in the Gulf Islands. No surprise there. I'm going to try to keep this moving quickly because we've added a lot of data here, and I just so we've got North Saanich is down 6.8% year over year for the benchmark pricing. Sydney is down 3.9 year over year for benchmark pricing, and Central Saanich down 5.7% year over year benchmark pricing for condos. So overall, condos have fallen on the peninsula. No data available on the Malahat area. Again, not surprising. There's not really any condos up there. In the core, we've got Saanich East is down 0.2%. We've got Saanich West is up 0.6%. View Royal down 0.9%. Esquimalt up 3.6%, bucking the trend. Victoria, City of Victoria is down 3.8%. Oak Bay is up 0.7%. And Vic West, I can't read because the slide overlay.
Okay. So I just want to say here, what's interesting is we're seeing a normalizing of pricing happening here, where we're all around the mid fives for Saanich West, View Royal, Esquimalt, and Victoria. And then Vic West, we're seeing a rise, and that's, I think, because of the development around the Delta Ocean Point Hotel area there.
We've got the Songhees, we've got the various stuff along the Tai Road there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a higher, it's not exactly higher end, but some higher end condos in that area.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's kind of averaging similar to Oak Bay, which does not have a lot of condos. And Oak Bay's got a mix of some pretty old condo buildings and then just a couple of newer ones. So the mix is really important there to look at too.
True. So you have newer product in Vic West than you do elsewhere.
Yeah. The other thing with these benchmark pricings is that the benchmark is a little different because they track an idealized home or unit for that area, and they kind of track its value over time. So this is not averages, folks. We're not talking averages here. We're talking the benchmark that they track a benchmark. So it's kind of an imaginary home where they've kind of cobbled together a number of different elements that they say is typical for that area and for the age and so forth. But so the key takeaway is here, how has the benchmark changed? Don't look at this as that's the average. But in general, benchmark can tell you what's happened to the market overall.
Yeah.
So Souk, 5% change for condos. It's 5% more than it was last year. No data for Highlands, no data for Metchosin. Again, not really any density in those areas. Colwood is up 1.9%. Langford is down 1%. Langford has had, that we were talking about this earlier, the supply demand, so much more supply in Langford. Not surprising that there's more competition and that the price the benchmark might be down a bit.
The other thing is just realizing that the condos in Souk tend to overlook the water. So if anybody's looking for ocean view, that's where the condos are going to be. There's also some coming up in the Beachlands. By the way, Royal Bay. There's Royal Bay and Beachlands, and we refer to them as Royal Bay because that's the MLS area. But Beachlands is the development on the seaward side.
Condos. Yeah, some beautiful ocean view condos have come up for sale recently there. And that's a really good point. I just helped someone buy into a beautiful ocean view condo in Souk. And if you're looking for, to stay in the greater Victoria area and have some beautiful views and be on the water, there are some actually excellent value options in Souk. Okay, so we're of time. It's 10 after 10 now. So in terms of condos in general, the greater Victoria trading area down 1.5%. In the core region, that's down 1.4%. In the West Shore, down 0.5%. And again, Peninsula was the most change, down 4.4%.
Now we can pass on townhouses. I think we're good.
Let's skip over townhouses. Okay, moving on. So, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining us today or for listening. We love to have you here, and we just are talking Victoria real estate and what's on our minds every week. So it may not be super exciting, but it's of interest to us and it's a good conversation. So. We want you to like us. We want you to subscribe and be ready to get alerts for our upcoming shows. We would love your feedback and comments. And if you know anyone who would benefit from any of these discussions, please do share this with them. We would also really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Andrew, how do people reach you?
Okay, yeah, so if you want to talk about anything real estate, or you have any questions about anything you heard today, give me a call. I'm at 250-360-6106. Email info@andrewplank.com, and the website andrewplank.com has numerous resources and tools and a contact me button. So get over there. Jen.
I am at 250-217-4925. My website is jenlow.ca, and my email is jen@jenlow.ca.
All right. And I'm Jane Johnston. I'm with the Briar Hill Group. My number is 250-744-0775. And you can reach me at jane@briarhillgroup.com. And you can also look at our listings and lifestyle in Victoria at briarhillgroup.com and on Instagram at realtyteacher_remax_Victoria or at Briar Hill Group. So we hope to see you there. If you have any questions, send us a message. If you have any information that you want us to cover, please connect with us, and we will see you next Thursday at 9:30.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
See you later.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.